If I told you that there's an activity that you can do just for 5 minutes a day or even just once a week, and it can help you feel happier, calmer, and emotionally steadier with very little effort, would you be curious enough to try it? I'll be honest, when I first came across gratitude journaling a few years back, I was skeptical at first. At that time, I was just getting into positive psychology, and it felt like one of those trends that sounded nice but felt temporary. Something people would try for a month and then forget about it. But then I thought, it seems harmless. Let me see what happens. And that one decision quietly changed the way I experience my days. Not overnight, not dramatically, but in ways that stuck, that stayed for much longer than I ever thought they would. I noticed changes in my mood, my focus, how I handle stress, and that made me curious. How does gratitude journaling work? So I dug into it. I looked into the neuroscience and the psychology behind it, and that's where everything clicked. Hi, I'm Kuhu, a counselor, an art and pop culture enthusiast, and your buddy in figuring out the art of living our best life. Here on Kuhuverse, we decode why our brain does what it does and how we can use that knowledge to level up our goals, routines, and mindset. Because I believe mental health isn't about simply getting by, it's about creating a life that feels like you. So if that sounds like your vibe, make sure to subscribe and let's get started. The way our brain naturally works is not to keep us happy, but to keep us safe. And that means it has to be constantly looking for problems. What could go wrong? What's missing? What needs fixing? But when you start to intentionally notice even just small good things that happen in your daily life, like the sunlight on your desk, or a nice message that you get that just made you smile, or even just a warm cup of tea or coffee, you're training something called your Reticular Activating System, or RAS in short, which is like the brain's own filtering system. It filters out all the stimuli around you and shows you what you need to focus on. So, gratitude journaling doesn't magically fix everything. It helps you focus on things that would make you feel happier, things that you would feel glad and grateful to have in your life. And over time, this can shift your inner state from constant vigilance and being on edge to being more present in the moment. It's subtle, but it can be very powerful. Because when your brain isn't constantly scanning for danger, for problems, you can be more present in the moment. You can think more clearly. You'd feel your mind is more clear. You'll feel less reactive and you would have more emotional space. In a few months of gratitude journaling regularly, I noticed something very different, something very nice. Before that, when something went wrong, I used to instantly spiral into everything's wrong, everything's terrible, or I'm doomed. After trying gratitude journaling for a while, I realized I felt much more steadier. I could pause, stay rational, and most importantly, problem solve without panicking. I had this little list of evidence that my life is pretty good and every day isn't so bad. Because I realized when you write down the good moments in your life, your brain gets evidence that good things do happen to you, not just to people online. I personally think that gratitude journaling is a low effort, high return self care activity. You don't need an aesthetic journal. You don't need any prompts. My first journal for this was just an A4 notebook, and that worked perfectly fine. All you really need is 5 minutes, 2 3 lines, once a day, or maybe even once a week. This isn't about making your life sound magical. It's about reminding your brain that not everything is wrong. Not everything is going wrong, not everything is going terribly. And on genuinely hard days, opening a notebook that's filled with things that went right, of small, warm moments, it becomes proof that your life isn't defined by the worst chapters. Honestly, you don't even need a journal, though it would be nice to write it down by hand. But to start off, you could also use the Notes app on your phone. And eventually, with enough practice, you could say, you can also just take a 5 minute check in, just think about the things you're grateful for today, and be on your way. My only rule is write what feels true to you that day, not what feels inspirational or beautiful. Just what feels true to you. When I first started gratitude journaling, I treated it a bit like homework. Pinterest prompts, pretty lines, but none of it felt like me, like my day. A month in, I realized I had it backwards. Some days my entry is just I'm grateful it's sunny today, or I'm grateful I had that dessert last night, I'm grateful I don't feel rushed this morning, or I'm grateful I made it through yesterday. And that's enough. Even something tiny or silly counts. If getting a labubu made your day, write that, it totally counts. Now, I know building a new habit isn't the easiest, and especially when it's something you don't immediately see results for. So, here are a few fun ways I think you could get into the habit of gratitude journaling without it feeling like a chore. One is having a gratitude buddy. So, this is like you decide with a friend or with a family member that every day you're going to look out for one moment that makes you feel really happy or grateful, and you're going to tell each other about that at the end of the day. So this could be over a call, this could be just sending each other a message that this was my moment today. Second is photo a day. Now this can be similar to having a gratitude buddy where you take a photo in the moment where you felt very grateful or you felt really happy. So this could be while talking to someone, it could be while having a meal, you really liked your meal today, or you played with a dog at the park and you really had fun. You take a photo in the moment and you either create an album on your phone where you store these pictures, or you send it to your gratitude buddy every day and you both exchange your stories and your photos on why this moment was so nice for you. And this doesn't have to be a long explanation. It can just be sending the photo and that's it, or it can be just context. This is what happened. I met this really cute golden retriever today. That's it, that's enough. Third is having a gratitude jar. At the end of the day or at the start of the next day, you could sit down, take a small piece of paper. It could be colored and you could color code it for different things like pink for people, blue for tiny moments or tiny comforts, and yellow for moments that you felt grateful in. And in short, you write down on that paper what made you feel grateful and really happy that day or the previous day if you're doing it in the morning, and fold it, put it in a jar. At the end of the year, you'll have 365 papers, just proof of how nice and filled with happy, calm, nice moments your life has been this year. Fourth might be the easiest of all, the gratitude alphabet game. If you already journal, you could use your journal for this. If you don't, you could use the notes app of your phone. And all you have to do is every day go there, take the first alphabet. So starting with A to Z, you take A and you write down one thing that starts with A that you're really grateful for in your life. It could be A for air conditioning, B for bread, C for your cat. This could also include names of people in your life, your pets, or anything else. It might sound silly, but again, this can become proof of all the good things in your life. Fifth is if today had a title. This might be the most time consuming and effortful activity, but also maybe the most creative one. Where if you journal already, what you can do is after you're done journaling or before you're done journaling, either way, give that entry a title that's based on something that made you happy today or made you feel grateful today. So, it can be just a very small moment from that entire day, from the entire entry, but you pick that and you give it a title like the slow Tuesday or the productive Wednesday, the unexpected compliment, the perfect chai I had. It could be anything. You pick out one small moment that made you grateful and you make that the title. This activity can help you reframe your thoughts and how you look at a day. Gratitude journaling isn't going to magically fix your life, but it can gently rewire your brain to support you more. Is the kind of habit where you might not notice the changes immediately, maybe not even for a few months. But 2, 3, maybe 4 months later, you might realize you feel much calmer, more grounded, happier than you were before, and that your self talk isn't as negative anymore. If you try any of the gratitude journaling methods we just talked about, or even just gratitude journaling in general, do let me know how your experience was and how does it feel. I would love to hear about it. If you feel like you're taking something nice out of this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more such videos. And if you like this video, I think you'll like these too as well.